Am I a bad person for not making a second meal for a child? As we said, I'm pretty sure that it's a thing about like a kid being picky. And if it's the case, the best you can expect out of me for these kind of things is like a peanut butter toast. That's going to be your second meal. Maybe leftovers. But if I don't have any, like peanut butter toast and that's it, you're going to eat what we serve to everyone unless you're freaking allergic. So, 30 female, I'm friend with a couple, Mike and Sandra, and invited them and their child, Charlie, 9F, over to dinner. Before they came, I texted them to find out if any one of them had any food sensitivities, allergies, needs, etc. You went already like further than you had to go. The wife said there was nothing I needed to worry about. Then you better eat what I'm going to serve. I decided on something a bit kid-friendly while still feeling like I was cooking for adults. So I settled on chicken parm, very fair go, with some chocolate cake for dessert. I figured it's like chicken nugget mixed with pizza, which kids would like. If you want to look like you know what you're cooking, while not being that good of a cook, that's the way to go. That is the exact way to go. Chicken parm is that good like entry level cook. It turned out really well for someone who just started cooking like me. That's basically because it's what you're supposed to cook when you start in cooking. My friend were telling me that it was good, and maybe they were just being polite, but I hate everything. Charlie poked at her meal the entire time we were eating, and I'm not sure she ate any of it. After we're done, I brought out chocolate cake. Charlie ate a tiny bite and immediately started bawling. What is bawling? Sandra asked her what was... Oh, she started crying, basically. What was wrong? And she cried that she didn't like chocolate. Sandra continued to comfort her daughter, while Mike and I awkwardly ate dessert. Way to go! Thank you, by the way, for the translation, Apple and Coke. A couple of minutes passed, and I noticed Sandra's glaring at me. I hesitantly asked her if I could help her with Charlie. I'm not good with kids, which she knows, but I wasn't sure what else to do. She often asked, is there anything you'd like to say to Charlie? It took me a second to realize that she wanted to apologize for her kid not eating my food. I thought it might help cheer Charlie up at least, so I said I was sorry that she didn't like my food. Charlie started crying harder, and her mom asked me if I had anything she would like instead. I drew the line there. I told her that I wasn't going to cook anything else, and that if I didn't like what my mom made as a kid, I went to bed hungry. Well, that's it. That's it. Mike was just silently eating his cake while Sandra tried to convince me to make something else for Charlie to eat. I stood up from the table and asked Mike if he would like me to wrap up his cake for him to take home because the rest of his family was apparently not having a good time. I suggested that Sandra could go home and make some for Charlie to eat. Sandra scoffed at me and said something about how I was cooking tonight and she thought she could have taken the night off. I knew I was about to say something I really regretted, so I slammed my plate on the table and told her to get out. Aww. You're like, already you regret to say that to your friend. Mike seemed genuinely embarrassed as they left. I haven't spoken to any of them since, and now I'm thinking I overreacted by kicking them out. You kind of overreacted, but like... Okay, here's the thing. There was emotion in that situation that didn't need to be there. Like, I don't understand why people feel the need to go emotional in these kind of thing while they could just like have kept it to argument, to like balanced talk. This happened about 3 days ago and I'm going to reach out to Mike today when it's not 4 a.m. Thanks for the perspective, everyone. Basically, people said like, Ash, people probably said Ash. Edit 2. Thank you everyone for sharing all these news perspective on the situation. I truly appreciate them all, except the guy who told me I was just not act angry next time. Well, I'm sorry. Why the hell would you need to go angry in that situation? You don't need to. Like, how old are you? You're 30. By 30, I believe that a normal human should have learned to deal with its emotion Like me not hitting my ex-roommate because he hit me in the past, you know? Stuff like that. Yeah, I reached out to Mike today, apologized for kicking them out. Mike apologized for everything. He said that Sendra's mother had been admitted to the hospital that day, so understandably, nobody was really in their best behavior. He said they drove straight from the hospital to my house. He said he would have said something about it, but Sandra had asked him not to mention it then so she could focus on dinner, which is totally fair. Charlie isn't normally a picky eater or spoiled or autistic or anything. I don't think this was enough to call someone autistic, but okay. Like, okay. She was just upset about grandma. Why she latched onto saying she didn't like chocolate is really anyone's guess. Sandra's mom is doing better now, and while the family didn't behave at their best, I've got no hard feeling about dinner anymore. Maybe they're lying, maybe not, but I'm willing to give the friendship one more chance, so I probably won't cook for them again. Honestly, at that point, I would probably like just offer to cook again. Like, I don't think that was the problem. People have a hard time dealing with their emotions. And like when you have a emotionally like loaded day, it's hard to deal with all of that. So, what is the new look, by the way, Faras? I'm curious. I don't know what you're talking about here. You didn't know about that first, but dang, doo-doo-doo. Kids crying. I don't think she's an asshole. It was a bit of an overreaction. Yeah, exactly. It was an overreaction, but it could have been handled differently. However, that child is... Now that we know like a little bit more of the context, the child may not even be spoiled. It might just be a child that was not in the right like mind at the moment. Going to cook for the family. Got your tab open. Thank you, OG, a lot. Good lurk. Good time with your family. It's some important time that you need to spend there. And she's in the asshole. Yeah, we learned about Sartre today, and I got smarter. And you got smarter and True Tate's vibe. I'm so sorry for you, dear. Let's go make a quick reading of what people say. I personally think that everybody sucks a little here. Because if you're not knowing that your friend went through an emotionally loaded day, you cannot, like, decide to go extremely gentle with them. On the other end, the reaction that she used was a little over the top in comparison to what she was actually needing. So both went into the emotion instead of going into like what would have been maybe a more sane argument. So yeah, and people have a hard time when you're trying to explain to people that you decide some stuff about how you raise your child and stuff like this. People have a hard time dealing with that. They feel like you're judging them and how to raise their child when you just say that, no, it's not going to work like this in my home. Which you're not. Like, you're not trying to raise their child. You're just saying like, no, it's not going to pass. I'm not going to let that roll. So people will go, not the asshole. What kind of kid cries over chocolate cake? It was not over the chocolate cake. Okay. As I see, there's a lot of people that are going, not the asshole. The part that I have a little hard time with maybe is the part where she's like, is there anything you'd like to say to Charlie? Like, Charlie is ruining the vibe. Charlie is the one ruining the vibe there. I think it's not her that needs an apology. Let's go. True, but at the same time, it could have been yeah, everything there could have been communicated a bit better. Like, clearly. It wasn't spoiled. He turned off chocolate cake. Dude, you can turn off chocolate cake without being spoiled. I don't like chocolate cake. I actually dislike chocolate cake. If you serve me chocolate cake and the other option is actually not eating chocolate cake, I will probably not eat chocolate cake. Like, Charlie's the asshole. You guys are harsh. That's a child. She does not know how to deal with emotion yet. She's 9 years old. Like, the adult not being able to deal with her emotion is something. The kid, she's 9 years old. She still has to learn about that. To be fair, for 9 years old, dessert is the highlight of the meal. It's something that I'm kind of curious about. Like, we're not giving dessert to my kids every dinner. Really think it's a bad habit to do so. Dare to explain me why it's a thing? You don't like chocolate cake either. It's either too dry or has too much chocolate. Red velvet is like passing. I'd rather go for a good carrot cake. Like a well-prepared carrot cake beats a lot of cake. Strawberry cake? Strawberry cake pass. The problem I have with, like, we're talking about like shortcake, right? Because the problem I have with shortcake is often the cream, the crémage. I don't know how to say that in English. It's kind of weird, but entirely, I genuinely don't like cake. Cheesecake pass. But honestly, I think carrot cake like goes all way over that. If there's one cake that I like in small quantity, you know, the one that we do with all the fruits, like the jellied fruit during the holidays, that one, like 1 or 2 slice, I'm in heaven. 3 slice, I feel like shit. You can't put carrot cake in the same category as chocolate cake. I know. Carrot cake is just like boom all over the rest. This is just like, if I have to choose, I'll go for carrot cake. I don't feel as bad, and I know it's sugary as fudge, but I don't feel as bad. Nanimo is also freaking good. If you take 1 or 2 bar, more than this, you feel sick.